Let me ask you something. Have you ever shown up to a house you legally own only to have someone in yoga pants with a Starbucks mug tell you you're trespassing? No, well, buckle up because that's exactly how I found out just how insane real life can get. It was about 6 months after my divorce, a divorce that honestly left me flatter than the tires on my old Ford pickup. My ex-wife Lisa, she ran off with some guy named Brad who could probably recite every chakra by heart but wouldn't know a tire iron if it hit him in the third eye. I'm telling you, my whole world went sideways, my business, my house, even my tools all gone. I wound up renting this sad little studio that smelled like someone's grandmother chain-smoked through the 80s. One night, scrolling Craigslist for a distraction, I spot this listing, foreclosed mountain cabin, Woodland Park, Colorado, starting bid $8,000. The pictures looked rough, think broken windows, deck falling in yard, overgrown like nature had claimed it back. And yet, something about it just hit me. Maybe it was desperation, maybe just the urge to rebuild something hell, maybe both. Long story short, I was the only bidder at the county auction. $12,000 later, I was the proud owner of 2 acres and a rotting pile of logs. Now I did everything by the book. Title search, insurance, you name it. The place had been abandoned after the previous owner, a guy named Harold Brennan, died. No will, no family anyone could find. The county cleared the title, put it up for auction, and boom, now it's Jake Morrison's mountain retreat. My plan was simple: drive up with my contractor buddy Miguel, assess the damage, start fixing the place up, flip it for enough to get my life back together. But as we round the last curve in the road, I slam on the brakes. My abandoned cabin is freshly painted cars in the driveway, kids' bikes scattered everywhere. Before I even knock, the front door swings open. Out walks this woman, blonde, head to toe Lululemon, looking at me like I'm selling pest control. "Can I help you?" she asks, all sugary and condescending. I hold up my deed. "Ma'am, this is my property." She actually laughs. "Sweetie, we've been here over a year. Adverse possession laws, look it up." Then she smirks, shuts the door in my face, and leaves me standing there like the world's dumbest Amazon delivery guy. So there I am on my own driveway holding all the paperwork, and none of it means jack squat. Miguel is just staring at me wide-eyed. I'm trying to keep my cool. I knock again hard. This time a young guy with a beard that looks like he stole it from a possum stands behind her. She tells him, "Tyler, call the sheriff." He grins, starts dialing. Not 20 minutes later, Sheriff Rick Morrison, no relation, rolls up. He walks straight to Brenda, gives her this familiar hug, and suddenly I realize exactly whose side he's on. She starts spinning this sob story about me harassing her, threatening her kids. Rick barely glances at my paperwork, tells me I'll have to take it to court. Then Brenda turns on the waterworks, sobbing about how she's afraid for her children, and I get threatened with arrest if I don't leave immediately. Driving back down the mountain, I'm numb, then furious. By that evening, Brenda's already posted to the local Facebook groups about some predatory slumlord trying to evict a family. Overnight, I'm the villain in a story nobody even bothered to fact-check. People I've never met are calling me every name under the sun, greedy, heartless, you name it. Now, I'm a contractor. I know a little something about Colorado law. Adverse possession. You need 18 years. Not just one. And you sure as hell can't just claim it after running an illegal Airbnb. And that's when I start digging. Calls to the county, local businesses, anyone who's dealt with Brenda Hutchkins. Turns out this isn't her first rodeo. She's pulled this scam on at least 3 other properties. Brenda's got a crew. Tyler, her burnout son, whose main talents seem to be vandalism and creative drug use, and Madison, her daughter, who can cry on command. She's filed for homestead exemption, claimed the place as her primary residence, and run my cabin as an Airbnb, $6,000 in bookings while I was licking my wounds after the divorce. But Brenda's greedy. 3 days before I showed up, she'd gotten cocky and filed a complaint against the county inspector. That put her on the radar, and as it turns out, people talk. A local hardware store owner remembered her stiffing him for paint and lumber. The woman at the diner recalled her coming in for free meals, claiming her mom was dying, then getting caught buying steaks at Walmart. And as I'm piecing all this together, Brenda escalates. I start getting harassed calls, social media vandalism. My truck gets predator spray painted on the side. Brenda's not just playing the victim, she's going on offense. The local news runs a story about me, the greedy developer throwing a family out on the street. I nearly lose it. I realize I need help. That's when Rosemary Ree comes into the picture, a former corporate fraud lawyer who burned out in San Francisco and now runs a legal practice in the mountains. She listens, looks over my documents, and says, "Jake, this is classic fraud." But the sheriff, he's either clueless or bought. Rosemary's got a bulldog tenacity and a sense of humor dry as old whiskey. We start working the case together, digging connecting dots. The twist we discover. Brenda wasn't just scamming me, she'd been a caretaker for Harold Brennan, the previous owner. Digging through some hidden paperwork Tyler smashed out of a wall during a rage fit, we find medical records, legal forms, a life insurance policy with Brenda as beneficiary. Harold's signature changes shakier and shakier then. Not even close. Turns out she isolated Harold forged documents, and after he died, collected a 40 grand payout. Except there was a clause she couldn't live in the house and claim the money. She forged documents, committed tax fraud, ran the Airbnb, and lied about everything. Now, I'm not saying I'm Columbo, but with Rosemary's help we put it together. Brenda had done this to other elderly men. She preyed on them, isolated them, waited until they died, then moved on. And just when I think I've hit rock bottom, I realize I'm not just fighting for my cabin. I might be the only person standing between Brenda and her next victim. The FBI gets involved. Agent Martinez, sharp as a tack. Cool as ice, she sees the evidence, calls it what it is. Elder abuse, insurance fraud, maybe even murder. Suddenly, I'm part of an honest-to-God federal investigation. Brenda, meanwhile, is coming unglued. She starts making threats, slashing my tires, even tries to have me killed by hiring some bikers to solve her landlord problem. Her own kids, Tyler and Madison, finally snap. Madison comes forward, agrees to testify. She's had enough. The final showdown. A packed town hall, local TV cameras rolling. Brenda wheels in, dressed like she's auditioning for a soap opera. Neck brace, oxygen tank, tears on demand. She paints herself as the victim, the community laps it up. But then I stand up, call her out on Harold's medical records. Agent Martinez steps forward, badge shining. Fletcher Brennan. Harold's nephew steps up, lays out the whole story. How his uncle was isolated, how the money disappeared, how Brenda forged documents. Brenda snaps, screams, she put Harold out of his misery. Cameras catch every word. Martinez cuffs her right there. The crowd erupts. That night, for the first time in months, I breathe easy. 6 months later, I'm sitting on my newly rebuilt porch, the sunrise throwing gold across the pines, sipping coffee that finally tastes like home. Brenda life without parole. Tyler got time for property destruction. Madison, she's living with family, thriving, planning to study criminal justice. Our community came together after all the chaos. Neighbors fixed the cabin-cooked meals. Even Deputy Rick came by, red-faced but honest, helping put up new windows. Rosemary and I, let's just say those late nights researching law turned into early morning coffees. She's got a wicked laugh, and we've started a business helping others spot and stop property scams. The cabin's value shot up, but honestly, that's not even the point anymore. The real victory. We started a fund in Harold's name to protect other elderly folks in Colorado. His story became a warning and a shield. And here's the thing. The world's always going to have people like Brenda, folks who see kindness as weakness and think laws are just obstacles to be worked around. But the world's got people like Rosemary Fletcher and even me, just stubborn enough to fight back, to stand up when it counts. So let me ask you, where do you draw the line? When does standing up for what's right become worth risking everything? Drop your story in the comments. Your own run-in with a scammer or a nightmare landlord, or just what you think justice really looks like. Let's help each other spot the monsters before they show up in our own driveways. And hey, if you're about to buy a foreclosed cabin, maybe bring a lawyer and a camera. Trust me.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video của mình.